Have you ever left a conversation feeling drained or guilty, even though you did nothing wrong? That's often the mark of a toxic person. Evil doesn't show up with horns or fangs. It hides behind charm, false kindness, and subtle games. Today, through Stoic wisdom, we'll uncover 10 clear red flags that reveal when someone close to you is not what they seem. Manipulation is one of the most dangerous weapons in the hands of a toxic person because it hides behind the mask of guidance or care. At first, their advice feels genuine. They might say, "I only want what's best for you." But over time, you realize their words are not empowering you. They are conditioning you to doubt yourself. I once knew someone at work who always offered to fix my projects before they were presented. At first, I was grateful, but soon I realized they weren't improving my work. They were slowly convincing me I wasn't capable without their approval. That's the hidden poison of manipulation. It doesn't enslave your body, it enslaves your confidence. Epictetus warned us, "No man is free who is not master of himself." If someone constantly positions themselves as the gatekeeper of your worth, step back. Real guidance sets you free. Manipulation ties invisible chains. Charm is one of the easiest traps to fall into. We all love being around someone who makes us feel special, noticed, and valued. But have you ever met someone whose charm felt rehearsed, like a performance? At first you think, "Wow, this person is amazing." But soon, cracks begin to show. I once had a friend who made everyone feel like they were his favorite person. Compliments, jokes, warmth, it all seemed genuine. But over time, I noticed a pattern. His kindness always had an expiration date. The moment he had nothing to gain, he disappeared, or worse, began criticizing the very people he once praised. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Genuine kindness cannot be faked forever." So watch carefully. Does their charm extend to those who can't benefit them? That's where the truth always reveals itself. For some people, lying isn't an accident, it's a lifestyle. They lie not just to hide mistakes, but to control how others see the world. A toxic liar doesn't simply deceive, they rewrite reality. I once worked with someone who took credit for an entire team's success. When challenged with facts, they didn't apologize. They doubled down, twisting the story until others began doubting their own memory. This is what we now call gaslighting. It's not just lying, it's an attack on your ability to trust yourself. Marcus Aurelius advised, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Protect yourself by looking at actions, not words. Truth is solid and requires no defense. Lies are fragile and eventually collapse under their own weight. Seneca believed we are born to live for each other. But toxic people see others not as humans, but as pawns. Their lack of empathy can appear in small, cutting ways. Imagine opening your heart about a struggle only to hear, "That's nothing. Let me tell you about my day." They don't just ignore your pain, they dismiss it. Even more chilling, some take silent pleasure in others' misfortune. That absence of empathy is not a small flaw. It is a window into an empty soul. Real relationships thrive on mutual care. If someone shows no ability or desire to stand with you in your hardest moments, recognize the truth. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." Surround yourself with those who live empathy, not just talk about it. Control is the oxygen of the malicious. They don't just want influence. They want to dictate your choices, beliefs, and even emotions. Sometimes it starts small. They suggest what you should wear, how you should act, or who you should talk to. Over time, you notice you're no longer living your life. You're living theirs. A friend of mine once convinced me I wasn't ready to pursue a major opportunity. They presented it as concern, but in reality, they wanted me to stay beneath them, dependent. Looking back, I realized it wasn't about helping me. It was about keeping me in their shadow. Epictetus wrote, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." If someone constantly invades your freedom, remember, your mind is your last fortress. Defend it fiercely. You'll recognize them quickly. Nothing is ever their fault. When things go wrong, they cast themselves as the victim, while subtly placing the burden on you. The most dangerous part? They do it so smoothly that you start believing them. I once worked on a project where mistakes were made by my teammate. Instead of owning up, she said, "Well, maybe if you had organized better, this wouldn't have happened." At first I thought she was right. But then I realized every single failure somehow became mine, never hers. Seneca warned, "Truth stands on its own. Lies always need excuses. Protect yourself by staying grounded in facts. When blame is shifted unfairly, don't argue emotionally. Stay calm, point to the truth, and walk away from the game." This is perhaps the darkest sign, someone who smiles when you suffer. It may show up as laughter at your mistakes, gossip when you're vulnerable, or subtle delight when you fail. I knew someone who smirked when others were reprimanded at work. At first I thought it was indifference, but then I realized she thrived on others' pain. It made her feel powerful, even superior. Seneca said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity." But to toxic people, your adversity is their entertainment. True friends support you in hardship. Evil ones celebrate it. Never mistake cruelty for humor. Toxic people know that the stronger your support system, the harder you are to control. That's why they, subtly or directly, try to isolate you. They'll whisper doubts. Your family doesn't understand you like I do. Or, your friends don't really care. I once had a friend who constantly criticized everyone close to me. Over time, I began pulling away from those who had always been my foundation. Only later did I realize it was a calculated move to leave me dependent solely on her. Marcus Aurelius believed humans are made for cooperation, not division. Real strength comes from connection. If someone is trying to cut those ties, see it for what it is, a trap. Guard your community because it is your shield. Envy is dangerous because it rarely appears as open hostility. Instead, it wears the costume of advice. You share an accomplishment, and instead of celebration, you hear, "That's good, but maybe next time aim higher." I once completed a project I was truly proud of. A friend responded with, "Nice, but I know someone who did it even better." At first, I thought she was pushing me to grow. But I realized it wasn't encouragement. It was a subtle attempt to shrink my joy. Seneca called envy the ulcer of the soul. A true friend lifts you up, celebrates your light, and pushes you to shine brighter. A jealous person can't stand your light because it exposes their darkness. Recognize the difference, and never dim your glow for someone else's comfort. The final warning sign is an unrepentant heart. Everyone makes mistakes, but growth comes from acknowledging them. A toxic person does the opposite. They justify, blame, and repeat. I once confronted someone about hurtful behavior. Instead of listening, they snapped back, "You're overreacting. I'm fine. It's you who has the problem." That refusal to reflect or change is a clear signal. This person values pride over growth. Marcus Aurelius urged, "Waste no more time debating what a good man should be. Be one." Self-reflection is strength, not weakness. If someone consistently refuses accountability, protect your peace by stepping away. Not everyone is willing to grow. If this video gave you clarity, hit that like button, subscribe to Stoic Master, and drop a comment. I see the signs. That way, you not only protect yourself, but inspire others to open their eyes too. And don't stop here. Check out the next video on our channel, where we dive even deeper into the wisdom of Stoicism for modern life. Until then, guard your mind, protect your peace, and keep walking the path of strength.